Hey guys, it's Laura, and I have a super great recipe for you, and it's from let me get my cover to show you because I have it propped up. It's from the FIXATE, and it looks backward, the FIXATE cookbook. If you don't have this cookbook, you need to get it because this cookbook is fantastic. And what we're gonna make tonight, those yummy meatballs. So I'm gonna make them on zucchini noodles, but for my kiddos, they wanna have them either with pasta or they want to have them as like a meatball sub kind of thing. So I'm making extra too because I always make extra on my food so that I can have all my meals portioned off for Frank for when he has his lunches the next day. So I always make extra so that he has them for him. So this is what you're gonna need. You're gonna need your turkey. So I have 2 packages of turkey because I'm doubling up this recipe. So the recipe that I'm doing is double of everything, okay? So the recipe calls for 1/3 of a cup of wheat crumbs. So I doubled it. So I have 2/3. Yay, let's get a math. So I doubled that in and I just dump it right in. I don't mix a lot of these things ahead of time. And then you also want to make sure you have like low-fat milk. And it says, the recipe says for 1/4, so obviously I have 2/4. So I'm going to pour that in too. And then it says for the 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So again, remember I'm doubling. Now my kids are not so into the full medium onion, or which is about like a cup of onion. So what I do is I didn't double this one because they don't like as much onion, but it calls for a full onion. And what I do is some people chop them really fine, but I actually found out that if you chop them just a little bit bigger, they end up trapping moisture inside your meatballs, so your meatballs are moister and they're not as dry. So instead of a full cup, or 2 cups, I did 1 cup for all of it. So I dumped those in, and I have them all set. And then one thing, I do love garlic, and it calls for 3 cloves of garlic, so yum, finely chopped. So I have all my garlic, and I just sprinkle that in too. And then you want to make sure that you have your fresh Parmesan. Now, I do Parmesan and a little Romano. So on here it says to do 2 tablespoons. So this is double that. So I have 4 tablespoons of that. And I do the lower fat, the 2% milk, and I do with the Romano as well. Then it calls for a whole bunch of seasonings. So you're going to do your oregano, you're going to have your salt, you're going to have your parsley, you're going to have your black pepper. What else do I have in here? Oh yeah, I do light salt, so you know, low sodium salt. So I do all of mine together in one thing, and I put a little bit extra oregano, and I actually put cilantro in. It's like, I love cilantro, so I add a little bit of that in there too. And then it calls for your eggs. So I have this big pile here, so I'm going to like move this down so you can see everything's in there. So now I'm just going to dump all my eggs in there too. And then this is where, if you have fun little helpers at your house, they're just going to start, and I should have tilted this down, so I'm going to tilt this down for you to see what I'm doing here. So now all I'm doing is I'm just mashing this all together. And you really want to mash these meatballs and meat, that is, all together so it's really nice and gooey. And really, doesn't that look delish? And it's actually going to taste really delish. I've preheated my oven to 425, and these meatballs don't take very long to make. I mean, maybe 13 to 15 minutes when you make them, so it's really easy. So you could be starting, you know, boiling your pasta up, or in my case, I'm boiling it for Lauren, but for me, I'm just going to do zucchini noodles. And when I do my zucchini noodles, all I really do is just microwave them for about 4 minutes, and they're all set and done. All right, so now I have one goopy, yummy, amazing meatball mess. Okay, it's going to look really good when it's done. And I've pre-greased my pans. Now, I just take a little olive oil. You can do cooking spray. I just don't like the spray because I don't want the spray fumes. I don't want to be breathing them in. So I just use plain olive oil on my pan. So now I'm just going to I'm going to move this pan over so you can see it. You're not seeing me, but you're seeing the pan. So there's my pan, and it really depends on the size of your meatballs. We kind of like larger meatballs, but you know, it's just the size that you want. And all you do is you just scoop them in and put them on your pan. You're going to bake them, like I said, for about 13 to 18 minutes. This is probably one of the best meatball recipes that I've made. And the fact that the kids ask for it, I think, is a really good thing, because how many times do kids actually ask for healthy things? So I'm just going to put those together. I'm going to pile as many as I want, and you're going to notice that because there is cheese in this, because there's all the gooiness with the milk too, that these will seem a little runny at first, and they, you know, they cook down. They're not going to cook like a complete round meatball, like maybe that you're used to before. You could always add, you know, one less egg if you want to. You could always add a little bit less milk and a little bit less olive oil if you want to. You know, you can play around with it, but like I said, I have found that if my onions are just a little bit bigger, it keeps everything nice and moist. So I'm just going to cook these in the oven, and then I'm going to make all of my sauce for my kids, and then everything's going to be all set, and then Frank gets leftovers for tomorrow. So try this recipe. It is called the Italian Meatballs with Grandma's Tomato Sauce. Super easy to make, and your kids are going to absolutely love it, and so will everybody in your life too. All right, enjoy guys, and keep on eating your Fix Clean way, because it really is going to change your life. Bye.